On the first night of Oban, the village comes alive with lanterns. In a misty, dim street, a beautiful woman named Otsuyu, with flowing hair, walks calmly. Besides her, a young girl holds a radiant lantern. Both figures are silent, their gazes locked on a house. Inside the house, there lived a lonely samurai named Ogiwara. While he was thinking of something, he heard a sound. When he looked away, he saw a beautiful woman with silky hair. He was fascinated by her calm smiles and sense of peace. He welcomed them and started engaging in communication. The beautiful woman slowly teased him with a mischievous smile, but never revealing the truth she had planned. They even share a gentle sip of tea under the moonlight. Inside the room, her voice, her laughter, her touch, all feel alive, all felt real. Without considering anymore, they surrendered to share their physical intimacy. The young girl waited for her master at the door. Night after night, the lady did not stop coming. Besides, Ogiwara's desire for physical intimacy has been intensifying longing. Her smiles and beauty control his body throughout the day and night. But one late night, an elderly man saw the girl silently walking into Ogiwara's house. He hides behind a bush and eyes on them suspiciously. Without making any sound, he sneaked through the gap in the door. In the dimly lit room, he saw Ogiwara cradling a decayed, hollow-eyed skeleton in bed. On the next day, the old man kneels before a priest inside a grand temple. He narrated all the scenes he had seen on the last night. After carefully listening, the priest gave him a glowing charm inscribed with spiritual symbols. The man holding the charm went to Ogiwara's house. "Hey, the girl you lived with is an evil. You see her in a human form, but in reality, she is just a decayed skeleton." Ogiwara feels scary. The old man put the glowing charm onto his table and told him how to get rid of her. Ogiwara pressed the glowing charm onto the wooden frame of his door. During the night, Otsuyu, with her flowing hair, stood outside the door, her eyes filled with sorrow. Her hand pressed against the door, but the charms repelled her. When her hands hover the charm, she couldn't touch it. She kneels at the wooden doorstep, her hair spilling on the ground like ink. Inside the room, Ogiwara could not hold, but had to open the door. When he opened the door, her smile was wide. Her eyes were wet with tears of joy. Late at night, they walked out along a narrow forest path. She walked ahead gracefully, with her long black hair flowing through the wind. His heart tells him to turn back, but her voice is so sweet, so loving, that leads deeper to the night. The path leads to a forgotten temple. The temple courtyard was filled with crooked gravestones on the foggy ground. Her hand points towards the largest grave at the center of the courtyard. Ogiwara stares in disbelief and kneels down before the grave inscribed with Otsuyu. Staring at the name, his face had become a mask of shock and despair. Her laughing makes it unnatural and odd. "Ogiwara, stay with me. Stay with me forever." Her voice is no longer sweet, but hollow and cold. She pulls him in, her arms wrapped tightly around him. His body moves without will, his heart giving in. Their forms slowly descend into the darkness, embarrassed by the cold, dumping soil. The next morning, near the gravestone, Ogiwara's lifeless body lies intertwined with a decayed skeleton. The nature of a ghost's return to Earth may be due to lingering love or loneliness.